Join me, Commander Cody, for an intimate chat with my friend Java John on the flip side, Saturday, March 24th, 6 p.m. here on WFIT. Are you ready to rock or what? Yeah, that's because I was just thinking that there's a great Long Island expression. Are you going to plug it in or what?
Yeah. Is that where you're from, Long Island?
Well, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
I was born in Idaho. You know?
Oh, yeah.
And my dad was getting out, and then he got out looking for a job because he did the stuff on the front of the planes, right? And he got a job doing those pen and ink drawings for the New Yorker magazine.
Oh, yeah, cool.
So yes, and then he had grown up and around various places on Long Island, out in Southampton and in and out, stuff like that. So he moved to Brooklyn, and that's where I first actually remember stuff.
Nice.
Was in Brooklyn, in the empty lots in Brooklyn. So.
All right.
So shoot it.
Are we ready to?
And we'll proceed. We got the three things.
Yeah.
Let me stash those.
All right, here we go. I got my seatbelt on now.
Okay.
Today, I've got an old friend joining me here on the flip side, legendary singer, songwriter, pianist, and artist, Mr. Commander Cody himself, George Frayne. Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Hey, John. How you doing? How's the weather down there?
It's much too toasty for my taste at this time of year, but it's kind of a beautiful day. Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Well, we're on our way down.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be very nice for you when you come down here. It's like I said, I like a little bit of winter, but we almost didn't get any this year. So, oh well.
Oh yeah.
I guess not enough winter is better than too much winter, I guess.
We thought that we had enough up here, but everyone really missed it. You know, I just barely got any snow in the backyard, and I'm an official Great White North here. So.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I wanted to jump right in about your last recording, one of my favorite albums from 2009, Dopers, Drunks, and Everyday Losers, the classic Commander Cody. I love it. I play tracks from the disc all the time, but my favorite remains.
Oh yeah.
The Lone Ranger.
All right.
Can you? I just can't stop playing that track. Can you give me a little background on that tune?
Well, yeah, I did it to make a video. The video finally got made by Sophia. Finally made the video last October. It's on YouTube. Commander Cody videos on YouTube. Directed and performed and edited by my daughter Sophia Casanova. And I had thought of somebody doing this for me when I wrote it in 1977. It didn't really happen for the first Arista album. Nothing happened. But I wrote it to be a video. I wrote it to be some kind of wacky, zany. Crazy cowboy, lots for Lone Ranger, shoot 'em ups, and sobbing chicks, you know.
Cool.
And so I finally did it. It only took me 25 years to get it together.
Well, sometimes, you know.
Yeah, you got to stick to it. I mean, it's a good. I mean, it's all about Born with a Mask On. It was an idea that I thought was funny 25 years ago, and it seems to me some people don't like it, but I like it. It's one of my favorite songs, and it rocks, and I like a little heavy metal now and then.
It definitely rocks, and every time that line comes up, I laugh.
Yeah,
and every time I play the song,
and it goes over well. People get a chuckle out of it, and I play it as part of the regular set every night, along with Hot Rod Lincoln and Beat Me Daddy to the Bar and Smoked That Cigarette. So
cool.
It's nice that the eclecticness of the repertoire is going over, so I can do something as square, square yet somehow strangely hip, and Smoke That Cigarette, and then rock out with Lone Ranger and Rockin' Over China, stuff like that, and everything in between too. Yeah, right on. Well, you know what? Last time I talked with you, I think it was about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago. Shortly after this disc, Dopers, Drunks, and Everyday Losers came out, I had a chance to see you perform for the very first time down at the Sebastian Beach Inn here in town, and I'll tell you what, you guys blew my socks off. Very impressive, very energetic show. A lot of fun. Excellent. What we do in Florida is Mark's lead guitar player, Mark Emmerich's cousin Tim's got a band down there, and he plays great guitar. So we use him and their bass player, and the three of the four guys that I fly around with come down. And Steve's got relatives down there, so he goes down for a week ahead of time, takes a little vacation. I come down, meet up with him. Mark's down. He does all kinds of stuff, makes records down there, and all kinds of stuff. Plays around with these other guys. we all get together, do a couple of gigs, have some fun, and we fly home, and they can go on their way.
Nice. But yes,
In other words, it'll be the same band that everyone's heard us before bring to the Sebastian Beach Inn and other Florida gigs.
And you've been to the Sebastian Beach Inn a number of times, eh?
Oh, yeah. This will be about number 6 times. We've been coming there for about 15, 20 years almost.
All right, on. And I've been missing you all those years except for the last one. But I won't miss you no more.
All right. Well, come on down, and we're going to have a ball. That's for sure.
Tomorrow, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow over at SBI at 4 p.m., Commander Cody in concert.
We'll be there. I'll be the guy at the bar.
That's where I found you last time. Let's see here. I mentioned that I was doing an interview with you this afternoon on my Facebook, and a friend of mine chimed in and said that he thought that you turned up on a recording by a friend of mine, Ann Feeney.
Ann Feeney, yes.
Is that a recent thing?
I did that about 6 years ago.
Oh.
6 years ago when I was driving through Pittsburgh, Annie was doing an album. She said, "Won't you stop by? I'll give you a couple of $100 to mess around a little bit, and we'll do a couple of cuts."
Cool. Do you remember the track, the title of the track?
No, I know. I'm knowing it was a typical Ann Feeney kind of thing.
Okay.
Really stomping folk tune.
Yeah.
But I have no idea what the name of the song was. I have no idea, man.
I'll dig it out, and then we'll play it here.
Yeah. I think Ann passed away.
No, I don't think so.
I hope not. But she had gotten sick. She had cancer there for a while.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I think I do remember. I think I do.
Check it out because he's a dear friend and talk about the righteous socialist.
Oh yeah.
Right wing, left wing, redneck, commie punker.
Yeah, buddy.
Rebel rouser, and if I thought we had lost him, but if we hadn't, that'd be good news for me.
I don't think
for
so.
Folk music in general.
Yeah, she performed for me when I had my coffee house down here about a dozen years ago. Her with Chris Chandler. Do you know Chris?
I know. I met him once.
Yeah. What a wild bunch between the two of them. But anyhow, we'll find that song. We'll find out the information about Ann and we'll let everybody know about it and play the song too. So.
Okay, good.
Let's see here. As I mentioned, you'll be at SBI tomorrow at 4 p.m. When I went on your website, I was digging a little deeper this time around into your artwork because you are a fine artist as well. And on your website, I see that you've done a lot of portraits of famous musicians. That's something I have a passion for as myself. I do a lot of those as well.
Cool.
Some of your subjects range from Coltrane to Louis Armstrong to Elvis Costello and Jerry Garcia.
Oh yeah.
For you, what inspires you to paint a particular artist of musical fame?
Well, I'm interested in making two-dimensional designs out of faces and other interesting three-dimensional objects. I don't just do that. I do portraits of cars and parts of cars, and I do parts of faces and bring them way up and make them very abstract. And so I'm interested in really interesting faces. My favorite face that I would like is like Muddy Waters,
right.
Who's got holy mackerel, guys like Paul McCartney. You're not going to find me doing people like Marilyn Monroe. You're not going to find me doing although I've done both of them. You're not going to see me doing a lot of that stuff because they have relatively featureless faces. Eventually, Paul grows a beard, and that's kind of almost interesting. But whereas John Lennon and Ringo have way more interesting faces.
Oh yeah.
And I've done a lot more, say John Lennon than Paul McCartney because of the interestingness or more interestingness of John's face. So in terms of rock and roll, I don't do a lot of young featureless rock and roll stars, but I do a lot of old blues and old jazz guys. Now that say I could do like an Elvis Costello because his face is interesting because he's got a harmonica and he's got huge glasses and he's got other visual stuff thrown in there to make the composition more interesting. And I'll do that with somebody, a rocker. I've done some Clapton's. Clapton starts to get interesting looking once he starts going facial hair in his later in life. But for females mostly, Janis of course has a fabulously interesting face, as does Billie Holiday. So and I've done all those singers too. Somebody like Joni Mitchell, on the other hand, is harder to do, and I've tried to do portraits of her on commission, and I had a lot of trouble doing it. Even though she's a friend of mine, I'd like to do a nice portrait of her. I've failed in doing it. So not everything works out, and
No.
I've been doing this for quite some time. And I've also, I've done, I had a dull winter one winter. I decided I was going to do portraits of all the U.S. presidents, so I went ahead and did that.
Ah.
So I'm always working because I'm just one of those people that has to keep working.
I hear
you. Painting or practicing piano or writing or making videos or doing something. I'm lost.
Yeah, I hear you. And
the good news is you can smoke weed and do all these things at the same time.
Yes, I guess you can.
You certainly can.
You certainly can. You mentioned John and Paul, and I've got 3 of them done, and I'm stuck on Paul. Stuck on Paul. He's a tough.
So simple.
Yeah.
Well, go. Like I said, here's my advice to you: is go get him from this lady period after he grows a beard.
Yeah, good idea.
You'll find he's much more interesting looking, and you still can recognize him as Paul.
I will take that advice. And then, as you mentioned, and you go down further on the portraits, and you do portraits of cars as well. You like to paint old hot rods, and of course you like to sing about them. Where did this love of hot rods come from in your life?
Well, when I was a kid, I always loved hot rods, and in high school, a friend of mine, Russell Chianelli, who's now a professor at the University of Texas, had a 32 Ford that he was constantly working on. He's about a block away from me, and we used to all go out and steal parts for it from various places all the time. And so I started working on this stuff when in high school, and I've always liked fast cars and all that kind of stuff. I loved the Grand Prix racing when I was a kid. My mom had a MG and an Austin Healey when I was a kid, and I wrecked both of those things. And I've always loved it. And I had a few Alfa Romeos myself, wrecked them all. Yeah. And now in my old age, I've been consigned to minivans only, and ever since I've been banished into minivans. I haven't. And this is 20 years ago. I haven't hit anything, and nothing's hit me. So it's been pretty good. Everyone's more or less interested in my safety than how important it is for me to go fast. So I've gone with the safety.
Sort of a minivan purgatory.
Well, I found in 2003 Town and Country when Daimler was in control of Chrysler, and they were really on top of the quality control and brought a new front end in. And so if you get I just happened to have gotten and this is the one of all the mini. I've had all of them,
Right.
And this is the one I just held on to this, and then I got a second one, second 2003, and we're rebuilding it right now because it's just the most superior minivan. Drives like a Mercedes.
Cool.
So there's hope out there.
But out of all vehicles of all time, what's your favorite?
Of the ones that I've had, I've had about 60, or 50. I've wrecked at least 40.
Oh gosh.
My '67 Jaguar 3.8S was a fantastic car.
Yeah.
I really loved that. I got it for I had just gotten a check for $15,000 for Hot Rod Lincoln. That is the more money that I had seen in one batch my entire life.
Sure.
I was walking down Telegraph Avenue, or rather, because my car, my 62 Cadillac, had just crashed on Marin Street, and I'd left it, embedded in a fire hydrant and taken the plates and fled. And I was walking down Telegraph Avenue, and I saw this yellow Jaguar in the window of this thing, $1,500 cash. I could not resist it, and I drove it, moved out to the beach. I drove it until the American transmission, the American Borg-Warner transmission, is what finally stopped it. Even though I blew up the engine twice because failing to put oil in it.
That's a nasty habit that I
back in the 70s, there was no Jiffy Lube, you didn't drive into a thing and say, change the oil, mister. You either had to do it yourself under dangerous circumstances, or have a friend at the local filling station, or hang around. And there's no internet or stuff to do while the guy cranked up your vehicle up on this thing, and you sit around, doing nothing. So the oil changing was at a minimum back in those days. I usually thought when the car wanted to end, it would end its own life. And I'd move on to something else. And, I left many vehicles in flames. I had 3 55 Ford station wagons in a row. I just took the plates and left the wreck burning.
Oh, okay.
Things aren't quite that adventurous now that I've got kind of settled down instead of being the radical guy, and now I'm part of the establishment,
Yeah.
So when we come to town, we bring nothing but the old hits, nothing new and radical to try out on the crowd. We're going to do stuff that everybody knows in the crowd is going to know the set as well as I do.
Nice. Since we last spoke, you've had a new book released called Art, Music, and Life.
Good. Oh,
yes.
Good. Well, it's my all my good paintings, and it shows some of my pieces of sculpture too, and some of my brother's stuff. And I wrote some anecdotes to go with the portraits. A portrait of Jerry Garcia, a couple of things about Stinson Beach, and then a portrait of Hunter Thompson, a quick thing about the bomb story, and then Willie Nelson, and I smoked a joint with Louis Armstrong, portrait of Louis, little anecdotes like that, and then different little things that I try to make it interesting, rather than just being a dull art book on one side or a BS rock and roll book on the other side. I thought I'd make it mostly an art book with anecdotes as opposed to dry comments.
Right on. That's the same concept that I have. So I may look at yours as a model for mine.
Oh, cool. Well, take a look and see the approach. On this particular one, I haven't written anything bad. It's all uplifting type stuff with fun, good stories. I figured that after everyone abandons me and my wife dies, I'll write the black story and kiss everybody right on my deathbed.
There you go. But I held back from reading the story about Hunter Thompson in hopes that you would share that with us here.
Oh, well, it's real simple. It was blood and guts, rock and roll, sex, drugs, and a story about an interview I was doing with Hunter Thompson in Florida that ended abruptly. And then later on, in the hotel room, I was attacked with it, where Hunter rolled a bowling ball size of M80s taped together through the line door, catching everything in the hotel caught on fire. There's women's and drugs and rock and roll. A disgusting story, not fit for the airwaves, but fine for mentioning in an art book.
Okay, he once did a bit. Conan O'Brien finally got an interview with him. Did you ever see that?
No.
Conan chased him for ages for an interview, and Hunter finally said, I'll do an interview with you, but you need to come out to the ranch. So he brought him out, and they did the interview while, of course, discharging firearms on like NBC logos and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
It was great.
Well, that's
great.
Hunter for you, know.
All right. Well, Mr. Commander Cody, George Frayne, I am so looking forward to seeing you live in concert tomorrow at the Sebastian Beach Inn, an early 4 p.m. show at the Sebastian Beach Inn. It's a great venue. You're a great talent, and I love that you took time to visit with me here today. And I want to remind people that you can find out more about Commander Cody and his escapades by visiting commandercody.com. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you'd like to bring out right now?
There's Facebook. Facebook Commander Cody's under development, but George Frayne Facebook is where all the videos are, and there's a YouTube Commander Cody videos where 34 of the videos are. And then most of, if you haven't seen a Commander Cody video, there's not live video. They're thematic, conceptual art videos. Excellent.
I'm going to that right away.
Cool, man.
Yeah. All right, George, I thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Great, John. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to rock out.
Right on, buddy. Have a great day.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, it was Java John, FIT Melbourne. This is the old Commander. We're coming down. Better get ready.